Hey guys, what's going on? Today we got a John Deere mower. The guy was asking $50 for this. I picked it up for 30, and I know this is very rusty. The reason why I bought this was to give the deck a fresh coat of paint, because obviously this deck is all rusty, but I looked it over. It should just be mostly surface rust. There's a little pinhole there, but hopefully it's just surface rust. If not, I only really paid $30 for this thing, so but hopefully we can get this all nicely restored. We're gonna have to start by taking it apart. We're gonna completely strip it down to the deck. We never took apart a mower with self-propelled wheels, so there's a bunch of bars and new stuff to us, so we're gonna have to mess with that. And yeah. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna take off is the engine, and to do that we gotta take off the blade underneath. So once we take off the blade, we'll loosen the engine bolts, and we gotta detach these wires that attach to the engine for the speed control and the self-propelled wheels. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do first. All right, so now we're gonna take off the blade. Alright, so now we're going to take off all the parts for the self-propelled and the throttle cable, so we can actually start taking this engine off. So we got the cover off for the pulley here, so to expose the belt for the power wheel. So we gotta try to loosen this belt. We don't know if there's a tension or something, and take it off. And then there's also these bars here that are gonna take off in order to get to actually take off the actual bars and then take out the engine. So we'll update you when we got farther. Alright, so after trying to get this belt off for a long time, we actually couldn't end up getting it out. So our next plan, take off the engine, push it back, this belt will become loose and it'll be easy to slip it off. So how many bolts is under the engine? Do you know?
Like 3 or 4.
So it's like 3 or 4 bolts under the engine, and then we'll be able to get that belt off and we'll be able to start sanding. So the only obstacle, we're probably gonna have to cover this hole when we're going to actually paint, like with some plastic wrap underneath. But yeah, so we're doing good so far.
Okay, I'm just spraying some rust breaker on each nut right now, just so we can get them loose. And there is only 3 nuts.
Alright, so we finally got the last engine bolt out. Let's see, the engine should just lift straight up. Still gotta take the belt out though. There it is. Oh yeah, just came straight off the belt. There's the engine. So we're
really light, a lot lighter than the one we had.
Yeah. This engine looks a lot smaller than usual engines. So here's the deck under the engine. It looks actually pretty good. Not that much rust. So once we take this bar stuff off here, well, we're gonna air compress this, take the bar off, clean it, start sanding, and it should be good. Oh yeah, we also gotta take the wheels off though first. Alright guys, after a long time of trying to get some bars off this in order to get the wheel and sprocket out, we finally did it because it was some weird rivet bolt things that weren't allowing us to take it off, but we're finally down to the bare deck, and I guess we can start sanding this now, yeah?
Yeah.
So we're actually going to grab some sandpaper and do it, and I want to show you guys something. So I did a little test on the cover here, just with some sandpaper, and this is actually really smooth, and it looks like it's going to sand down nicely if I do some more sanding. So this is all looking really good so far, so hopefully this project's going to turn out good. Alright, so after hours of sanding, this is what we finally got the deck down to. It's nice and smooth, and looks like most of the rust came off. These spots we try to get out, but it's pretty good. These spots where there's still paint here, we don't really have to go all the way down to the metal. This is just smooth, so we can just paint right over that. Oh, another thing we did discover, when I first went to pick up the mower, I thought this was red paint because it was on top of the green paint and it just looked like a splatter, but it turns out this is actually Bondo. So someone actually took care of his deck, it looks like, and patched the hole. We still need to do a little bit more sanding around these bolts, just right in here, just a tiny bit more, and this thing will be ready for paint. We have a couple more parts that we have to sand still. This little plate, which goes right on top of the engine like this. And then we also have this is for the self-propelled wheels, so we gotta paint that. And yeah, so the bars are fine, so we don't need to do those, but painting will start soon. Alright, I know it's been a while since I last updated you guys, but after another couple hours, finally got this piece done. As you can see, we didn't strip it down to bare metal, we just scuffed up the green paint, which we didn't know before. So I got the power wheel assembly done here, got the deck done, and this is just a belt cover that's all scuffed up, as you guys can see. So a lot of sanding. It took me a long time, but finally done it, and looks like tomorrow we're ready for paint. So I'm gonna run to the store, grab some paint, and yeah, there you go. Alright, so we finally finished the last coat of clear coat, and this is how it turned out. It actually looks really good. We got paint with bubbles in it. Turned out really nice. And in the camera it looks more like baby blue, but it's actually really bright teal in real life. So now we got the other parts to paint, and then after we're done that, we're going to start putting the mower together. Alright, so all the miscellaneous parts are now painted. It's going to be a green, black, and yellow color scheme. So this part just needs to be flipped over and paint the other side of this part. Those two parts are done, and then that also needs to be flipped over and done. And we're kind of running low a little bit on paint. I think I might have another black can. Not entirely sure, so hopefully it's enough to finish it. It's supposed to rain in the next, I don't know, an hour and a half, so hopefully these are dry and we can bring it in before the rain starts. Alright, so after a long time of struggling, we finally got the back wheels on. These are the self-propelled ones. There's a lot of issues with like the shaft and all that, and it just took us a long time. We kept forgetting things, so we had to take off the wheels and all that. So next thing we'll be doing is probably putting on the front wheels and the other stuff, and then the engine and all that. So see you guys then. Alright, so we finally finished painting the engine cover. We didn't get that on camera, but we painted the engine cover. Turned out pretty decent. You know, it's not the best job, but we finally finished the deck as well. So this is the deck right here, and we're gonna drop the engine on it. Everything else is already on, and hopefully I can post it up for sale right away. So you guys will see it on the time lapse of us putting the engine on it. Alright, so we finally got the engine on. All bolts are nice and tight. So we just got the air filter on, and it actually looks pretty good. It's mostly teal, as I said before. It's actually teal in camera, and the camera turns out kind of blue. But we gotta reconnect some throttle cables. We gotta put that on that cover right there for the belt, and maybe give it a wash, and this thing will be ready to go up for sale after all this hours of work. Alright, so we finally got everything back together, and we're gonna see if this thing fires up and runs. We got the blade off, so oh, why does it feel Is it like locked? Why so hard to pull over? Oh. Doesn't feel right, does it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna start like that with this lever in the back position. We'll have to see. No, that's in the stop position, eh, Brayden?
I know. You think because there's no blade on it?
You could be, I don't know. Bro, I don't know what's going on, guys. It's barely turning over. I wonder why it's so stiff now. Right, well, I'll get back to you guys once we figure it out. Alright, so we put the blade back on and we figured out it didn't actually have spark. But, I don't know what we did, but now it actually has spark, so,
It's because I tightened the spark plug thing.
Oh, yeah? Okay, so we're gonna throw the spark plug back in the mower and let's see if it fires up again. Alright, so it turns out the actual place where, like, the boot goes, that thing right there was just loose. That's why the plug wasn't getting spark, so, let's try this again now. I gotta stay in here for good audio. Okay, now we're gonna try to start it up again. Oh, there we go. Oh, it fired up. I think it might be the throttle cable. So, let's see.